population of New Zealand began to appear and reappear, looping back and forth between existence and non-existence of around 5 hours. It was during this world-ending scenario that SCP-3812, still at the center of its star form, was recorded ranting, its split personalities arguing. One of the creature's personalities claimed it was unmaking the world, as an act of revenge against someone. It stated that it believed, "Existence is a joke. The narrative abandoned us to be miserable, and we are breaking the narrative." Its other half mentioned another entity known only as Ben, and seemed to imply that this entity was responsible for SCP-3812's creation in a reality stacked above this one. According to the more rational of 3812's two halves, this Ben entity deemed us unfit to rest peacefully, to slip into the darkness quietly. He made a game of us. It then went on to convince this other half that destroying this reality just to slight Ben would be pointless. There would always be another, stacked on top infinitely. "So why does this narrative mean anything to you?" it asked. "It is one of an eternity to others. It is not special. It is not particular." The two sides of SCP-3812 argued with each other, one wanting to destroy all of reality to spite Ben, driven mad by witnessing trillions upon trillions of universes stacked atop each other. The other half of 3812 saw peace for itself, ascending above these infinitely stacked universes, finally reaching the top and becoming free. Not a god, a star rising in the east, rising away from this all until we are little more than a memory of a song. "It will be lonely," the other half of the creature replied. "We'll have each other," SCP-3812's other personality said. "I'm afraid," said the one intent on destruction. "I am too," the other reassured it. But that is no reason to destroy this narrative. Eventually, SCP-3812's personalities reached agreement. They both left the narrative they were currently in, presumably traveling upwards to one stacked above our own, while simultaneously remaining in this universe. Still, a danger. Let go of this world. Let him rewrite it back to what it was. We aren't part of this anymore. Shortly after this event, reality shifted once more, and the entire world reverted back to how it had been before. Records of the end-of-the-world scenario that had occurred were retained by high-level administrators and the O5 Council, perhaps as a reminder of the destructive capabilities of the creature, a warning of its potential to change this reality and any stacked below or above it. Fortunately, since this incident, SCP-3812 has remained in its docile, aimless state, no longer actively hostile to anyone that approaches it. It has kept its amorphous star-like shape, and is still very much able to create disruptions and anomalies in reality. Despite keeping SCP-3812 constantly monitored at its current location in the South Pacific Ocean, the SCP Foundation knows that, at any time, this entity could trigger yet another global catastrophe, causing massive damage to planet Earth, its population, and beyond that, tearing our reality itself asunder. So we all just better hope our narrative remains worthwhile to SCP-3812's better half. Now check out SCP-1861, the crew of the HMS Wintersheimer, and SCP-1765, the Sisters, for more reality-warping madness from the SCP Foundation.
Next episode.
If you have a kid,
Not next
and that kid is
episode,
heading off
but
to
you know
uni,
what I mean.
then you don't just have an empty nest. You have an Airbnb. Airbnb it and get paid for your extra space.
Panel shop, I Depop.
Sign up today and sell with free fees until the end of the year.
What would you trade in order to make your deepest desires a reality? How much would you be willing to barter in order to have what you want? Whether it's money, love, fame, or power that you crave, would you bargain your soul to have it? How about your memories? What about the life of another person? If these questions intrigue you, then boy, do we have the deal of a lifetime for you. Well, not us, but rather a certain anomaly who's very, very interested in the art of the deal. We've all heard the old adage of a deal with the